Many of you came and joined me, which was so fun and meant a lot to me. Then we went and watched the Rush last night. My goodness, we were celebrating until we lost at the very end, and then the other team were celebrating. But we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Easter, Christian festivals. How about you? Do you have something in your mind right now that you're remembering of maybe a favourite time in your life that you celebrated something? Maybe a significant time. Those celebrations often see us through, don't they? Like the joy that brings sees us through the hard times. It's important that we have them. God knows it's good for us to celebrate Him as well as it bringing us joy. John mentioned last week that this saying that says we spend often 10 years in a tragedy and 10 minutes in a triumph. And often as Christians we're very purposeful, which is good, but sometimes in our purposefulness we can get very intense and forget sometimes that also we need to enjoy celebration. Throughout this preaching series that we've been doing, and for those of you who maybe this is your first time here, and we've been doing a series called Enough, and here on the screen you can see that on there, and we've been talking about many different ways that God is enough for us. The whole concept of, have I done enough in my life? Well, God is enough. And today I want to continue that topic and talk about Christ is enough, with a subheading of, have I celebrated Jesus enough? And like I said, Palm Sunday is a day of celebration, and I'm going to read to you from Matthew 21, from my proper real paper Bible. As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and at once you'll find a donkey tied there with her colt by her. Untie them and bring them to me. And if anyone says anything to you, say that the Lord needs them, and He will send them right away." This took place to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet. "Say to daughter Zion, see your king comes to you, gentle and riding a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey." The disciples went and did as Jesus had instructed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and placed their cloaks on them for Jesus to sit on. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. The crowds that went ahead of him and those that followed shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest heaven!" When Jesus entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred and asked, "Who is this?" The crowds answered, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." What a celebration! The King of Kings coming. I think sometimes when we read the Bible, we read it with the end in mind. We know the story of the Bible, but back then they didn't. And so we know what happened a couple of days later. Possibly that same very crowd shouted, "Crucify him," after they had shouted, "Hosanna." And there's debates about whether that was true or not, but we know the end. But at the time, the people didn't know what was coming. For certain, they were thinking that maybe this Jesus was there to save them from the Romans and to create a new kingdom for them. Maybe that's right. But can I ask a question? And this is what I want us to think about today. Since when is praising God about us or about the crowd? Who is it about? It's about Jesus. Jesus was on his way as literally the King of Kings. And there's the crowd shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David." The King of Kings is in the room. As we sang this morning, the King is in the room. There was praise that day. Jesus knew what was going to happen and he didn't shut them down. He knew that he would overturn the tables and he would soon be led like a lamb to the slaughter, but he didn't stop them from praising him, because that fulfilled the prophecy as it was said from Zechariah 9, verse 9, which said, "Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion, shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly, and riding on a donkey, on the colt, the foal of a donkey." So many, many years before, it was prophesied that Jesus would come in that situation into Jerusalem. And what were they told? Rejoice. It was a command, rejoice. And so they did. They were God-inspired words. How quickly we turn often from rejoicing to cynicism.